Um, Good evening, members of the press. Good evening, Kenyans. We have called the members of press today at the LSK Secretariat to address a complaint that arose from manhandling of 3 of our advocates while on duty in Kitui County. I'm sure you have all seen that trending in the news. And our said members are Maurice Kimuli, Martin Ono, and Stanley Kima, who are harassed and assaulted by the orderlies in the County Assembly of Kitui in the full glare of the police officers that have been employed to ensure security and also ensure that our members transact their businesses without any harassment. As the convener of the Police Lawyer Relationships Committee in the Law Society, I take this opportunity to condemn that action and or omission by the police officers who allowed that despicable action to go on without taking any measures to ensure that our members were safe. We condemn in the strongest form possible the inaction and also the action by the people who were involved. And as the Law Society of Kenya, we wish to notify the IG and also the members of the County Assembly that that act and or action against our members in the line of duty is unacceptable. We will take action. We will follow up on the proceedings both in the police stations and also ensure that our members are protected by the law. I take this opportunity to invite the President of the Law Society, who is a spokesperson of the society, to give his remarks on this unfortunate incident. Thank you.
Good evening, friends. In the last few days, lawyers in Kenya have been the subject of discussion and attacks. Attacks because there are members of the public who erroneously believe and feel that lawyers are a hindrance to any developmental projects and the rule of law in Kenya. This morning, 2 of our colleagues, together with their assistants, upon instructions from the governor of Kitui, Governor Charity Kaluki Ngilu, went to the Kitui County Assembly to represent the governor upon being issued with summons to appear before that county assembly. When they arrived at the County Assembly of Kitui, the said advocates were assaulted and forcefully removed from the precincts of the County Assembly. Now, it is an issue that is of great concern to the Law Society because it must be understood that as advocates, we don't pursue our causes whenever you see us outside there. We pursue the causes of the clients, and the clients are you, and you. So that whenever an advocate comes out there to perform a particular function, he or she must be accorded the respect and assistance that is due to them. These incidents happened within the full watch of policemen. It cannot be explained why the policemen did not prevail, take charge of that altercation, and ensure that the advocates have access to the county assembly. It is for that reason, therefore, we have called upon the Inspector General of Police to initiate investigations as soon as possible and apprehend the perpetrators of this heinous crime. You saw one of the advocates was gravely assaulted, with the result that he had to be taken away in an ambulance for medical care. And this comes just a week after we sat and stood here and spoke about a colleague who was murdered in the line of duty 4 years ago. It is therefore an issue of great concern, and I must beseech all Kenyans to realize that we cannot have a country without the rule of law. You may have your grievances against lawyers, but Kenya is a country founded upon the rule of law. And lawyers play a fundamental role in ensuring that the fabric that ties together the cloth that is called the rule of law is sustained. We cannot have peace and tranquility when advocates in the performance of their duties are castigated, are vilified, are attacked, and are not protected. And it is the responsibility of the Inspector General of Police, in conjunction with the Director of Public Prosecution, to ensure that this matter is handled speedily and to conclusion. We have this afternoon signed a letter to the Inspector General of Police documenting this particular instance, and we want it addressed, and we want in future the police to ensure that advocates are given adequate protection whenever they have to undertake a business that may put their life in danger. Thank you so much. 7 days is what we consider appropriate for the Inspector General of Police to make necessary investigations and bring these perpetrators to book. And should it be difficult, because they were uniformed askaris of the county government of Kitui, they are identifiable. The Inspector General of Police should go to Kitui, speak to the officer in charge, who appears to be a general service policeman or an administration policeman, and get the details of who was in charge of security that particular morning. He's out of danger. The medics are managing his situation, so he's okay, he'll be well. But our apprehension is that this is how it begins. An altercation of this kind will have gotten out of control, and there is a possibility that our colleagues will have been harmed. There is a possibility that much more could have happened, and this ought not to happen. Not in any case, however much dissatisfied a particular camp is with what is being done by a lawyer on behalf of his or her client. Yes. And amongst the institutions that I acknowledged for having played a fundamental role in ensuring that there was peace and tranquility during the contested election for the president were the police and the armed forces. You saw how the police and the armed forces conducted themselves in Malawi. In fact, the army commander had to be relieved of his duties by the former president because he had said he will not quell protests, neither will he interfere with the right to protest by the people of Malawi. This is what we need to emulate here in Kenya, because we thought we had a national police service, but we have what in actual fact is a police force. Way forward, the problem to me does not appear to be the seats, as I've said time without number. The problem is with the individuals occupying those seats. Because like today, when we make a complaint of this kind, then the spokesman of the police, Mr. Wino, will come on air and say that he didn't see anything wrong with what happened in Kitui. Therein lies the problem. We need to start from the top command of the police and ensure that discipline is exercised at that level and also cascaded down the ranks of the police officers. The culture that we need to inculcate in our leaders, not only those who are in charge of the disciplined forces, but even political elected leaders, is this. There must be order. The rule of law must be obeyed. You understand? So that it is quite evident that the members of the County Assembly of Kitui were determined to go on with the impeachment proceedings against Governor Charity Kaluki Ngilu, notwithstanding the fact that there was a court order restraining them from going on, and also notwithstanding the fact that Governor Charity Kaluki Ngilu is entitled to representation, and that is the reason as to why her advocates were there. And we have, as a society, said we'll hold everybody accountable for their actions, be it an elected leader, be it an appointed leader, be it a judicial officer. And when we stand here and say, we know who is corrupt, we know who is fraudulent, we say that on the basis of foundation. We say that on account of knowledge that we have, so that it should not be the discussion in media houses as it has been lately, vilifying and castigating advocates. Who else knows about the rule of law than advocates? Do you want a country where everybody will take the law onto his hands? It shouldn't be the case. And for that reason, may I implore the leaders of this country to recognize the fundamental role that advocates play in putting in place a conducive environment where our disputes will be resolved in a manner that is agreeable and acceptable to all. Otherwise, we'll resort to anarchy. Yes. Good. Yeah, good question. I've said this many times, that the biggest problem that lawyers face are fellow lawyers. Lawyers in government, lawyers in the state law office, lawyers in the office of the Director of Public Prosecution, lawyers in state agencies, and as you've mentioned, lawyers performing various functions at devolved levels of government. It was incumbent upon the Speaker of the Kitui County Assembly to ensure that there is adequate arrangement to facilitate the entry of these lawyers into the county assembly in order that they perform their role. And it must be understood that when we call for accountability, we are not just calling for individuals outside our circles. We'll ensure that there is accountability amongst ourselves. Now that you've mentioned it, and I think that's a very good point, we'll establish what was the role of the Speaker of the County Assembly of Kitui. Was the clerk informed of what happened? What action did the two of them take? And if we find for a fact that they facilitated this transgression, then we'll take action against them. We are prepared to take action against our members, just as we have indicated. We are taking action against the Attorney General and the Solicitor General. Nobody is immune to the rule of law. And as the Law Society, we're going to assert that right as given to us by the statute.